It's Adrian Bo, super coach, also chief auctioneer for the Teslan Group and also CEO of Adrian Bo Training and Auctions, coming to you with my weekly auction market wrap for the weekend of the 26th and 27th of July 2025. Throughout the nation this week, we had 1,751 auctions, dominated by Melbourne in particular, which is good to see, and also those auction numbers as an aggregate throughout the nation being over 1,700 auctions is up 12% from this time last week. That's an outstanding outcome for buyers who have been starved of inventory. It's good to see an increased level of stock coming onto the market, and I think that'll be a continued trajectory between now and the end of the year. Last weekend, Australia saw its most impressive clearance rate at auction of 70%. That's given that we've seen on average around 63%, sometimes even in the high 50s. So 70% means that gap is closing between vendor expectations and also managing those budgets of buyers. And I think the trajectory of interest rates being in a downwards fashion is certainly assisting that, obviously increasing the borrowing capacity each time we do get a reduction. We do expect that rates will come down again in August. We've had 2 reductions already since the starvation, again, if you like, of rate cuts for over 4 years. And it's good to see 𝐵𝐷 Bullock there certainly putting her stamp on the new reforms in the RBA, with the cash rate sitting at 3.85%, sub 4%, which is great, and also sticking to their mandate that if core inflation did come under 3%, being their range of 2 to 3%, that they would bring the cash rate down. They've certainly done that, and we do expect to see further rate cuts commencing as of next month. Now, outstanding results with the Tesolin Group this weekend. We had 9 properties sell under the hammer. 𝐵𝐢𝐻𝐿𝐽, my co-auctioneer, did terrific work in the field, selling 2 properties under the hammer unconditionally, one for Sam Yazdi and Ronald Ramirez, which they did in conjunction, and that was 14 Glenbourne Place in Woodcroft, being one of Sam's specialty areas there. 5 registrations, sold for $1,090,500 above reserve, 3-bedroom single level home. And then Elliot went on to do 14 Sloop Street in Seven Hills, also for Sam, and that was a terrific outcome, with 7 registrations selling for $1,161,000, single level 4-bedroom. Now, with myself being the chief auctioneer for the Teslan Group and exclusive auctioneer to Josh Tesolin, the GOAT of the West, selling terrific properties all across the board, many in his core market of Quakers Hill. And I'll just go to say, rather than giving you all the registration numbers and the reserves, all were at or above reserve, and all had a medium registration number of about 4 or 5, some much more. So 139 Colloby Crescent in Hasslegrove. What an outcome. 7 registrations, sold for $900,000. There was $100,000 over the reserve, single level, freestanding home. Then we went on to 62 Titchbourne Drive in the core market of Quakers Hill, and that sold for $1,435,000. 8 registered parties. That was about $200,000 over reserve. Incredible outcome there. And a shout out to Christos and Sid, the 2 twins working for Josh Tesolin's team, and what a great catch they've been, and a recruit for the group. I don't know why the previous employers lost them, but certainly our win, their loss. Terrific outcome for them being their lead, door knocking that particular property, and then Josh listing it and me auctioning it off on the weekend and selling 200 over the reserve price. So well done, Christos and Sid. And that was only one of 2, which I'll get to in a minute. Then we had 65 Colladong Drive, Quakers Hill. That was also 5 registrations, sold for $910. Outstanding result, above reserve, battle axe property there. core market. Then we had 76 Barn Area Drive in Quakers Hill, sold for $995,000. Laurie Spiteri was the referral agent in that particular case. Great to see the Tesolin Group and Josh's team in particular having his associates deliver all these outstanding leads through good buyer work, over communication with database, and also leveraging off the back of every sale through cold calling, door knocking, and also letterbox dropping. So well done there, Laurie, the Maltese Falcon. That was a 3-bedroom home at Barnier. Then we went on to 31 Ridgeway Crescent, also in the core market at Quakers Hill, sold for $1,370,000. 2-story, another door knocking lead from Christos and Sid, the super twins there. Well done. Terrific to unearth that lead and have Josh and his team do an outstanding job in servicing and marketing that property, and I had the pleasure of knocking down the hammer at a terrific result. 38A Highfield Road, Quakers Hill, core market, again absolutely dominating the core market over the weekend in Quakers. Sold $862.5. That was a reauction. Again, 100% clearance rate with this reauction strategy that we've introduced with all our clients. If we don't get a result first time round, we give it a breather for a couple of weeks. We do a forensic audit on price, presentation and marketing. And this one, once again, I think that's the 14th one in a row we've sold 100% clearance rate on a reauction campaign. Goes to show when you provide the right advice, the right recommendations, over service buyers, over service vendors, you're going to get a terrific outcome. And that was $862,500, 3-bed, and that was a townhouse record for Quakers Hill for a 3-bed, 1-bath. And to finish off the day, we had townhouse number 1 at 25 Stanbury Place in Quakers Hill, sold for $933,000. That's an all-time record for a 3-bed, 2-bath. So, see you next week. God bless. Live with virtue. Bowie out.